Good evening and welcome to tonight's call. Thank you for joining me. My name is Karen Riley and I am the Vice President of Sales for North America here at ASEA. And you have logged in tonight to learn more about ASEA REDOX. Now, before we can share some of that information, for those of you who might be joining us for the very first time, I want to welcome you. For those of you who might be rejoining us, I want to say thanks for coming back. I want to share a little bit about ASEA, the company, and then tell you a little bit about the product that we're going to be talking about tonight. And then, of course, introduce our very special guest, Dr. David Silverman. So let's go ahead and get started. Very simply, ASEA's mission is to better people's lives and be a force for good in the world. The company began in 2009, and I have had the fortunate pleasure of being part of this organization for the better part of 9 years. We simply exist because we have a revolutionary category creator product that is really revolutionizing health as we know it. Now, to understand that, let's take a look at a few simple things. We are very simply a biotech cellular health company changing health and wellness in our industry. We do have a breakthrough technology, and that is sometimes hard for some to comprehend because the word breakthrough is often overused. But tonight we're going to explain why this is truly a breakthrough. And it's important to note that we are the first to market, we are patent protected, and we have no competition in this space. So one thing that you need to know before we get started is part of this breakthrough is because we really here, particularly in the United States, recognize that our medical system is broken. Now, not to indict anyone in the medical world, but we are by far the world's leading emergency medicine country. We are the fastest to respond. We spare no expense for life flights and emergency medicine. But overall, our system is broken at its core. We spend time and money treating the symptoms instead of the causes. And here are some alarming statistics. Over $3 trillion was spent last year alone in the United States on healthcare. Epidemic increases in disease occurrence in this country. And there were over 2.2 million reported adverse reactions caused by pharmaceuticals in hospitals in the last several years. And there have been more deaths caused by conventional medicine per year, over 783,000 deaths caused by conventional medicine. So alarming statistics about our healthcare system today. And what we know is this. For many years, medical research has been focusing on trying to find treatments for one disease at a time. Biotechnology companies and researchers like ASEA have been approaching this from a much different perspective. We have started off with a very simple question. Why treat only one issue at a time when our cells carry the solutions to fix everything? You see, everything is created and protected by cellular communications. Our bodies are communicating this way every second of every day. And they do this through something called redox signaling molecules. Now, that's a new term for most of you on the call tonight, or maybe it's something you've been familiar with. But let's take a look at really what redox signaling molecules are. Essentially, our bodies, our cells, we are made up of systems. Those systems are made up of organs. Those organs are made up of tissues. Those tissues contain 75 trillion cells, and those cells communicate through redox signaling molecules. These little redox signaling messengers make up healthy systems. So if we want a healthy heart, we need healthy heart cells. If we want healthy brain, we need healthy brain cells. If we want healthy organs, we need healthy organ cells. We need healthy communication. So what's happened is during the production of energy, this is happening in our body right now. Every single cell has a little power plant in it called the mitochondria. You may remember this from your junior high science classes. And that mitochondria is really like the power plant. And that power plant creates energy. It is creating the ability for me to speak to you tonight, for me to use my hands, for me to use my mouth, my eyes, to blink. It's creating the me to breathe without even thinking about it. Well, this cell is in a little bag of salt water. Well, while this energy is being created, known as ATP, it's kicking off these little molecules, these little signaling messengers called redox signaling molecules. Now, these are native to the body, but what happens is as we age, they start to decrease. They start to miscommunicate. They stop, or in other words, they stop communicating what they need to communicate. Another way you can look at it is our genes contain the blueprint to our health, and our body's ability to communicate those instructions is decreasing. Let's take a look at a few statistics. 80% of women suffer from some kind of hormone imbalance. 50 million Americans suffer from autoimmune challenges. 57% of the US population suffer from digestive disorders. 54 million suffer from inflammatory conditions, and 1 in 3 deaths in America are connected to cardiovascular disease. Pretty alarming. So here's the question. What if you could turn these genes back on? What if you could supplement these little blueprint messengers, if you will, to function at their optimal level, to function like they were functioning when we were young? What if this supplement was 100% safe and non-toxic and native to the body? Well, that's where the Redox Breakthrough comes in. So after 2 decades and millions of dollars of research and heavily patented technology, a team of scientists led by an atomic medical physicist achieved the impossible. We have been able to create and stabilize redox signaling molecules outside of the human body. Now, this was once thought impossible. In fact, ASEA is the world's first and only redox signaling supplement. So how do we do this? Well, let's take a look at the patented process. This is a 3-step process. Step 1, we simply start out with pristine salt water, the same as what's found in our cells. And we break down those chemical bonds and we simply put them back together. These atoms are restructured into stabilized redox signaling molecules. Now, of course, I am simplifying this process, which is why we have a very special guest on tonight. And we'll go a little bit deeper into this process a little bit later. But this process takes place at what is called the ASEA Redox Center. The ASEA Redox Center is located in Pleasant Grove, Utah, right down the street from the headquarters of the ASEA headquarters in Pleasant Grove, Utah. This center is certified by Bioagiletics, NSF certified. It's an FDA approved facility. It's kosher certified as well. We go to extreme measures to make sure that these patents and this proprietary process is protected. And Bioagiletics actually certifies every single batch of our product that it does indeed contain redox signaling molecules. So one of the benefits of the ASEA team is our ASEA Medical Professionals Board. Currently on our board, we have 6 members. We have Dr. Maureen Hayes, Dr. David Silverman, Dr. Richard Michael, Sally Diamond, Jerry White, and Dr. Foster Malamed. Now, tonight's very special guest here to answer some additional questions for us about redox and this incredible supplement is Dr. David Silverman. So let me tell you a little bit about Dr. Silverman. With a DPM, Doctor of Podiatric Medicine from William M. Schull College of Podiatric Medicine. He has a postgraduate training from the New York College of Podiatric Medicine. Dr. Silverman now brings his expertise to the ASEA Medical Professionals Board. He was a member of the American Podiatric Medical Association, the Maryland Podiatric Medical Association, the American Academy of Podiatric Sports Medicine also. Dr. Silverman was also a diplomat of the American College of Foot Surgery and American Board of Podiatric Orthopedics and Primary Podiatric Medicine, as well as a fellow of the American College of Foot Surgeons and the American Foot and Ankle Orthopedics and Medicine. So I am delighted to be introducing to you tonight Dr. David Silverman. I am going to go ahead and turn on his camera and welcome him to tonight's call. I'm going to stop the screen share. David, thank you so much for being with us tonight. Oh, can you hear us? Well, I am not sure what has happened with David tonight. Maybe he will log right back in. I'm sure he will. Let's give him just one moment. All right, I've got a text message that he has been disconnected and he will be right back with us. So thank you for your patience as he logs back in. We will be right back with you. On the call tonight. We have a lot of people here tonight looking for more information on Redox and this incredible breakthrough that we have. You know, I read just a very quick bio on you, but why don't you start out by sharing a little bit about your background in medicine and why you got involved with medicine, and maybe share your thoughts on my early comments on our medical system being broken.
I was hoping you would ask me about that. So thanks, Karen. I'm honored to be here, and I'm really honored to be on the medical board with those other professionals. And I have to tell you, all of us were very skeptical about this product. I mean, it was just so out of the box. But to answer your question, as far as why I went into medicine, I've always been fascinated by the human body. It just, to me, everything was boring. Animals and human beings were just fascinating to me, and how the body does what it does. It's born, it's conceived, it grows, it heals itself. You cut yourself and it heals. And it always fascinated me about that. And having had injuries as a young boy, I got interested in medicine, and I decided that I wanted to go into it. I didn't want to deal with life and death. That's why podiatry was good. People don't usually die from bunions, although you could have an infection and die. But I didn't want to have to tell people they were going to die. I didn't. And I also wanted, you know, time freedom. I did not want to be on call at night. I wanted to have a life. So I wanted to help people. I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to run my own ship. I wanted to own my own practice, which I did. I wanted to have a good lifestyle. And those are all the reasons that I went into medicine. Though I felt a little bit limited. I went as far as you can go in podiatry, as far as board certification and owning my own surgery center and office and all of that. And I did run my own ship, because I'm psychologically unemployable. It makes me cringe to think that I'm gonna have to ask permission to take a vacation or take a day off or go to the bathroom. Or ask for more money, please give me a raise. I don't like anybody pulling my strings. So I own my own practice, but I was a little disillusioned a little bit because I just felt limited in the scope of what I could do, the amount of lives I could touch, the amount of money I could make, the amount of free time I had. I always felt like I was meant to do more. I did not think that I'd be selling my practice, but those are the reasons I went into medicine. Also, what you mentioned before about the Western medical system being broken, part of it's broken. Our emergency crisis care system is phenomenal. I'm not a drug basher. I think 90% of the people take drugs for chronic issues don't need drugs, but the doctor is not educated on all the options they have to get them off the drugs, so they just write the prescription for the cholesterol problem or heart problem or mood problem, whatever. But our crisis care system is amazing. But for chronic problems, it's almost insanity. since the development of penicillin, which has saved tens of millions of lives, the system is go get a diagnosis, find out what's wrong, and then take a prescription, a medicine for it. And people are conditioned to do that by their doctors. And the doctors aren't evil. They're just educated by their teachers and by the pharmaceutical reps. And they're brainwashed by the television ads, which, and all the negative things about the drugs, they talk about you could die, you can depression, you this, that, suicide. And it's always people happy in the background, and it's all psychological manipulation. So those are that's why I went into medicine. And that's kind of why I ended up getting out. I didn't think it was going to be because of network marketing, and marketing a product that's made from salt water that no one's ever heard of it before. But that's why I got in, and that's kind of like why I got out. Oh, you're muted, I think. Can't hear you. You're mute. Oh, I got to unmute you. All right, let's see. Can I do that? Holy cow. All right, let's see. I'll find you. There you go. Oop. There you go.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Dave, thanks for sharing a little bit about your background on that, why you got into medicine, and a little bit about what your current view is of, and I couldn't agree more with the emergency care in the country. So many people are new to the term redox. Would you take a moment and share, what does the word redox mean?
Well, I'm going to give everybody a homework assignment to read this textbook. It's, 500 pages, but it's redox stands for reductant and oxidant. That's it. And most people don't know what a reductant is. They've heard of oxidants in the terms of antioxidants, which would make you think if antioxidants are really good, then oxidants are bad. That's not true. Without oxidants, we would all die in a half a second. It's when you have too many oxidants in comparison to reductants. So reductants are negatively charged molecules, and oxidants are positively charged molecules, like you said, produced in the mitochondria. They're called redox signaling molecules. It's just that we produce less and less of them as we get older, but that's what they are.
Wonderful. And share a little bit about, I shared, we're going to talk about our gene study, our genetic study. Talk a little bit about what it means, what is genetic coding, right? We talk about what we inherit, right? Our appearances, our hair color, our eye color. Share a little bit about why for so long people felt like that was something that could not be altered, and we had to just treat the symptoms.
Well, we think of genes as like you say, eye color, hair color, height, build, whatever. But genes control that, and that's important. But genes also control the way our cells function, and genes are coded to make proteins, and these proteins control everything about us, our functioning. It's your liver functioning, producing enzymes. It's your brain functioning. It's everything is controlled by our genes, everything. And as we get older, our genes start to turn off, meaning that they're not producing the proteins that they were. So they're almost like a shield for us. They're protecting us. They're making us function great. And children fall down all day long, and they go to school the next day. They're not in traction. They're not taking Advil. But by the time you're in your 30s, it's like 40s, 50s, 80s, you fall down. That may be the end of your life. You break a hip because you're not going to heal. Kids bounce back so fast. Their genes are on and protecting us and healing us, or making us heal fast. But as the genes turn off epigenetically as we age, which they do right after we hit puberty, because we start producing less of these redox molecules, our guard comes down, and then we start getting health issues. We don't heal as quickly. We age. You fall off your bike and you're in traction. You can see it in your skin. Your energy goes down. Your mental clarity is not as sharp. And so your genes are turning off as we age. And the double-blind study that Torte did that you mentioned showed unequivocally. I mean, it was a very exquisite study. It wasn't a huge study. It wasn't thousands of people. But if anybody that understands studies looks very carefully at what they did, it's incredible that they do a double-blind study. Half the people, well, almost half of them drink ASEA, almost half drink salt water, and some of them don't drink anything. And nothing changed in any of the groups except the ASEA group that very important genes that control thousands of other genes. I mean, you can pull them up at ASEAScience.com. You can pull up the study. You can see what these genes control. They turned on 20 to 31% in 8 weeks of drinking something that's made from salt water. And when I do a presentation, I say, you know how many people their genes turned on that were drinking salt water? 0.0. Why would they turn back on? They were drinking salt water, not reductants and oxidants. So that study really explains a lot of what we see with so many parts of the body that seem completely unrelated, from eyes to fingernails to skin to lungs to brain to everything. Anything you see younger people having less issues with is fair game for this, because it's as close to the fountain of youth of anything I've ever seen. And that's in the past 8 years. I'm 58. I feel like I'm 25, but at 58, I've never, ever seen, and I've been in wellness for 20 years, anything like this that is as safe as water.
Yeah, and I think I want to talk about the Torte Lab study a little bit, but I'd love for you to share how long you've been involved with ASEA, and were you a skeptic when you first heard about it?
Yeah, I don't know anybody who isn't at least somewhat skeptical, and that's good. It's the cynical people who it's tough. And if I happen to be sitting with a cynical person, this sounds terrible, but I'm hoping, I'm hoping that something in their body hurts them just a little bit. Not because I'm mad at them and like, ha ha, because I know that I have a 90% chance within 10 minutes that their mind is going to be very open by what they see when they put this on 3 times in 5 minutes. And we can't claim it does things, but it's like, see for yourself. It's as safe as water. But I was skeptical, but I was motivated to know about it. Everybody's motivation is different. Some people dismiss it. Some people are followers and laggards, and they need to see it on television to believe it. But if people have problems in their life and they want to solve them and they're proactive, whether it's they're sick or they don't sleep well or they don't like their wrinkles or their child is ill, their father is ill, their dog is ill, whatever it is, or they want better athletic performance, vitality, whatever their motivation is to learn about this product is their motivation. Mine happened to be my father. When my dear friend Debbie Wetzler brought it to me, I was skeptical. She just told me a story. She told me a story about her mother, what happened with her mother, a few things with her joints and her breathing problems. She showed me a skin problem that was gone. And, I trusted my friend. Was it anecdotal at that point? Yes, except I saw the difference in her skin. But, I had nothing to lose. I love my father. I had nothing to lose to investigate it. And did I want to understand all of how it worked? Sure. But I think I'm like most people deep down, even someone that says, show me the studies on this disease, show me the studies on that disease. There are no studies on diseases. This is the disruptive innovation. The company's not going to try to prove what it does. It's very disruptive. But all I really cared about was 2 things, Karen. And I think deep down, that's what anybody cares about. Number 1, can it help me with my problem or my loved one's problem? And 2, what are the risks? And when you have a product that it's impossible to be allergic to, you can't say that about any drug, a product that has no toxicity, it's not metabolized by the liver. If you drink more than your body needs, you don't overdose like you do on aspirin or acetaminophen or anything. You'll overdose and you'll die on any drug will kill you. If you drink more than you need, your body turns the excess back into what it was, which was salt and water. And third, there's no interaction with other things. I mean, there's just no downside to it. So yes, I was skeptical, but I was motivated. And that was my sole motivation to look at it. The business side of it, I looked at later. I listened, I paid attention. And then when the product validated itself on my dad and some other people, I was like, okay, this is my way to be able to help humanity. Millions of people, not just tens at a time a day in my practice.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk about the Torte Lab study for a moment, because for years we were operating a lot of our a lot of the business was being done through storytelling, through a lot of information that was, like you said, it was difficult because in our industry specifically, we have very limited research that we can use that keeps us in a safe safe harbor, if you will. So let me tell everybody a little bit about the Tory Lab. So Tory Labs partnered with ASEA several years ago. They are a genetic research laboratory. They conduct were hired to do an observation study to understand how ASEA Redox affects the activation of human genes, like David was talking about. Torte Labs believes in advancing medical research through leading genomic services. In fact, they partner with companies like Ancestry.com in doing some of their DNA testing. So that's the type of community and influence that Torte Labs works with. Torte Labs is run and led by a doctor named Dr. Kenneth Ward. He's an MD. He's a premier researcher in female reproductive medicine. He's board certified in OB/GYN, maternal fetal medicine, medical genetics, and molecular genetics, which is why this was so valuable for ASEA to partner with. They conducted an 8-week human study, and it was reviewed and approved by the Quorum Review Independent Review Board, ensuring the ethical integrity and safety and control of the research study. And this was a randomized, double-blind, placebo-controlled study. So here's what they did. They took 60 participants. They put them in 3 groups, 25 in the active group, which was the ASEA Redox group, 25 in the placebo group, which was just the saline group, and 10 in a control group. And that control group did not drink ASEA Redox or the placebo. Now, it's very important to note that the placebo that was given to the 25 was, in fact, the saline solution that ASEA creates prior to that last step in our proprietary process. It was saline solution. But it did not contain the ASEA patented redox molecules. So here's what happened. Well, it's important also to note, of the 60 participants, 41% of them were male, 59% of them were female, and the mean age was 35. So David, even though you've been talking about things like as we age, I think it's important that we know that this study was done on a mean age of 35. So each participant, except for the control group, drank 4 ounces of ASEA Redox or the placebo twice a day. They had their blood drawn, they were examined and reviewed, and here's the result. Of that 8-week study, like you mentioned, the study showed an increase of 20 to 31% difference in gene expression and the abundance in these 5 genetic pathways and signaling areas that we talked about earlier, which were the immune system, the cardiovascular system, the digestive system, the hormone modulation system, and the inflammation pathway system. Now, those, like we mentioned, are leading in the United States. Most of us know someone that has a cardiovascular issue or suffers from some type of inflammation issue, or myself, I'm a digestive issue sufferer, right? Or someone that suffers from the immune system. So David, talk for just a moment. When people hear a genetic expression change of 20 to 31%, that doesn't seem breakthrough. That doesn't seem earth-shattering. Share a little bit why that is a breakthrough, why that is so fantastic.
Well, because, look what happened with the saline. It's funny how people say, oh, I've heard salt water is good for you. The ocean is good for you. That doesn't turn genes back on. If you look at a 70-year-old, will they heal faster, or will they heal faster or slower than a 20-year-old? Will they have more health issues? Well, of course. But look at the difference between a 20-year-old and a 10-year-old, right? A 20-year-old is very healthy. A 20-year-old is faster and stronger than a 10-year-old. But who heals faster from a tonsillectomy? Who heals faster from broken bones? We start going downhill when we enter puberty. That's a fact. And nothing has ever been shown to turn genes on like this. I mean, Tory Labs was stunned by this. These were healthy people that their genes turned on. And quite frankly, you know, if the company had never sent the product to do the study, it wouldn't change anything about my belief in this. Does it explain a little bit about what we see? Absolutely. I'm more excited about sitting down with 50 people who are hurting and have them put the gel on 3 times in 5 minutes and tell me how they feel in 10 minutes total. I mean, the experience is so much more important to me than all of this, but I'm very grateful that the company did do that, and we found it reduces oxidative stress. We found that it turns genes back on. This is all the great whys as to what it's doing, but quite frankly, as I said, who really cares? If someone has been told by their doctor they have this health issue and they have a name for it, and this person has a health issue, they don't even know what it is, and they've thrown up their arms. Your body doesn't care. The body probably didn't have it when it was 10 years old. It came when it was as it aged, and so the fact that it turns genes on in 8 weeks, 20 to 31% is incredible. I mean, if they did a study on 80-year-olds and they did it for 6 months, it would be mind-boggling. But you know, I'm sure the company's going to do studies in other areas now, but that study really did explained a lot about what we see.
Absolutely. And David, explain or expound on, when we look at the Torte Lab study, we talk about they identified these 5 specific pathways that were impacted. But what people don't often recognize immediately is that those pathways aren't just 5 genetic blueprints, right? For example, it's called the EGR1 gene. That gene has an additional 15 pathways that it impacts, right? When you think about the blueprint of a house, if you think about that blueprint as the blueprint of your body instead, and if ASEA is impacting one of the doorways that leads into the home, and that home has 4 bedrooms, right? That's exactly what you can think about when you think about this product impacting that single pathway that then has an impact on 15 additional pathways. So things like circadian rhythm. So what is circadian rhythm?
So while we're sitting here talking about this, I'll just pull it up because I'm sure you're looking at the same thing I'm looking at. So this is EGR1, and this is what it's shown that this product turns the genes back on. So circadian rhythm, you can see, is pathway 3. Circadian rhythm controls sleep. Right? So people get on this product. We can't say it's going to help you sleep better because that's a medical claim. But what we say is baseline your sleep. How do you sleep now? It's amazing how people don't sleep well. Do you fall asleep easily? How many times do you get up in the middle of the night? And maybe it's to go to the bathroom too, whatever it is. How hard is it to go back to sleep? How rested do you feel in the morning? And people baseline all these things and they start drinking the product and they track their progress. So we know, I've seen what this does for 8 years. This explains it. Okay, and look at the other ones here. I mean, look at pathway 7, ovarian infertility. We can't say someone's going to get pregnant on this product. That's a medical claim. But what we can say is, hey, if you're not getting pregnant, I can say 3 words about this product. It can't hurt. It's non-toxic. Pathway 11 is insulin signaling. Interferon. I mean, serotonin's number 1. You know, people have very low mood, a lot of people. And what do? They give you medications to increase your serotonin. Where if you could do it naturally, why wouldn't you want to do it naturally without having chemicals that are being processed by your liver and your kidney? That's what I said about the study before, Karen. People that look at it, and anybody is looking for something to say no. A lot of naysayers, let me prove it doesn't work. Let me prove it doesn't work. It's like, oh, gee, it was 60 subjects. 60 subjects, 25 were on the product, 25 weren't. Every single person had their genes turn on in that 25. And as you say, those genes control thousands of other pathways in the body. So it's big. It is much bigger than anybody really grasps unless they understand and really read it carefully and see, my gosh, this could be the biggest thing that's happened in the health field in the last 100 years. And look, people sometimes say, boy, you sound you sound like you're exaggerating. I say, I swear to God, I could not exaggerate this. I could not overhype this. That's how big this is. And after 8 years, as excited as I am right now at 9:30 on the East Coast, I mean, I've been like this for 8 years. My wife wants to calm me down. I didn't get this excited about bunions and heel spurs. I can tell you that.
You know, one of the, no, you don't. One of the things I think is so important, and you've touched on it a couple of times, and I think this is kind of where we'll wrap up our call, is two things. The toxicity level, right? You've mentioned before that there really is nothing out there that doesn't have a toxicity level. With your medical background, I know that you're not in pharmacology, or you've never taken a drug through the FDA process, but help our audience understand, how does a drug in this country get approved? There's something called an LD50 that must be proven for a drug to be approved in this country. What is that?
Well, it has LD50 has to be a drug company or a developer of a company that wants to bring a product to market as a drug through trials. The first thing the FDA asks them is, what is the LD50 of this substance? And LD50 stands for lethal dose 50. So here's the thing. So what that means is, at what dose will this substance or this drug, at what dose will it kill 50% of the subjects? So you have a substance that lowers cholesterol, and they test it on rats, and boy, it lowers cholesterol really well, but it kills half of them because it's toxic. So the FDA wants to know what that is, what that amount is. And then the drug company, they can't market that. They lower cholesterol, but they kill half the human beings. So they start diluting it and diluting it and diluting it, and they get it down to a level that's acceptable. Well, now it only kills 1% of the people, of the rats, and then they test it on humans, but there's all these other side effects because it's affecting the body. So the beautiful thing about this is there is no LD50. This is what's so fascinating about this. Like I said, it's not metabolized by the liver. When you drink this, when you're a child, you produce a lot of redox molecules. At puberty, your mitochondria start going downhill, and so does the production of these redox signaling molecules. And when you drink this product, it joins with your own. It's exactly what's in you, so you can't be allergic to it. Like I said, you're raising the levels back up. Well, if this is the level that your body needs, and you drink this much, your body just turns the excess immediately back into what it was made from, salt and water, which is what our cells are filled with, which is what we get an IV when you go to the hospital, saline. So that's, the Hippocratic Oath is, first do no harm. And no doctor in their right mind or honestly say, when they write a prescription, I'm not doing you any harm. There's always a chance that they're going to do harm. But with this, you can't do any harm. It's as safe as water.
Yeah. In the Torte Lab's summary, one of the bullet points that I found so fascinating, and it was so subtle, is this: effects of consuming ASEA Redox are systemic. Mm-hmm. So systemic means, in this study, in his summary, in the physiological or pathology reference to systemic, pertaining to or affecting the body as a whole. Mm-hmm. It's so beautiful and so understated in the summary of this study. And I think one of the questions that we get asked all the time is, well, do you have to drink ASEA all the time? Can you drink it for 8 weeks? Can you drink it for 12 weeks? Can you drink it for, a year, feel better, and then stop drinking it? Share a little bit about what the study actually proved happens after you stop drinking ASEA Redox.
Absolutely. So even before the study came out, I would tell people, look, your levels went down when you were young. As you age, you're raising them back up. And they say, well, do I have to keep drinking it? No. If you want to stop, you just go back to where you were. Your cells keep making redox molecules, but it's not like taking steroids or prednisone where your adrenals shut down. Your cells keep making redox molecules, regardless of if you're drinking this. There's a reason for that, because it's also producing ATP. So you need that adenosine triphosphate to burn for fuel. So your body, just because you're drinking this, doesn't shut your production down. You just go back to where you were. So what they found was, and I'll share my screen again because it was on the same page I showed you here, is after the 8 weeks was over, they drew blood again. And they said, well, let's see what happened. So the study ended at 8 weeks. The genes had all turned back on, 20 to 31%. Now the people stopped for 8 weeks and they drew again, and the genes turned off. The genes turned off again because the redox level went back down again. So if you want the benefits of the product, you consume it. If you want to continue having the benefits of the product, you keep consuming it. And to me, some people say, well, gee, my issue is gone. Do I need it anymore? Well, you know what? A lot of things are going on inside your body you don't know about. And a lot of people get these health issues that develop in their breast or their lung or their bone or their prostate, wherever it is, and they go into panic mode. And that problem started with one cell that went undetected. We all have cells that are going a little crazy and our immune system is killing them. But when one gets through, then it becomes 2 and 4. And this product doesn't cure or heal anything. This product does not cure or heal anything. But if you can turn the genes on to put those defenses back up and amplify the signaling so the immune system can hear when you have a bad cell, boy, I'll tell you what, my issues went away a long time ago with this product. But I will never, ever, 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 ever stop taking this product, because I don't know what's going on inside of me, but this does.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And the study also proved and summarized that the effects of drinking ASEA Redox are non-specific to race, sex, or age. They were observed in all of the populations tested. So from a doctor's perspective, we are hearing from you, Dr. Silverman, and we've seen the results in the Torte Lab study. So let's share as we close out proper use on how to drink ASEA or how to use Renew 28, which is the 2 technology products that contain these redox signaling molecules. So share the how you might want to get started. If you are just on a maintenance dose, you feel great. You're not worried about anything in particular, but you just want to protect your cells as you age every day.
Sure. And when people start this product, the best thing to do, the most important thing, is to fill out the little card that comes in the box where you benchmark everything in your health first. Like I said, I talked about it with sleep, but do it with everything. You know, what's your mood like on a scale of 1 to 5 or 10? Well, you know, do you have any digestion problems? Do you have skin problems? Do you have mood problems? Do you have eye problems? Do little things float by in your eyes? Do you have ringing in your ear? Every little thing about your health, everything, baseline it. And don't and look at it this way. Everything you're doing right now has gotten you to where you are today. Now, if I was to start today, I'm David Silverman, I'm 58 and a half years old. Where am I at 58 with the exercise I'm doing or medications I was taking, which I'm not, anything? And baseline everything, because you want to know where you're starting, because we can't make claims about this, and we want people to get results as quickly as possible. The gel's easy, as I say. Excuse me. Take pictures of your skin, track your progress, go find 10 people who are hurting, do 3 times in 5 minutes. You'll see. You'll know today. With the drink, give it 90 days. Give it 90 days. 90% of people in 90 days say, oh my gosh. Okay. Now it could happen the first week. I drink 8 ounces a day, okay? I don't recommend people start at 8 ounces a day at the get-go, because this product is proven to boost your body's production of a glutathione. Glutathione is your master antioxidant. You look that up. It is a hotbed of research, because they're giving it IV, which doesn't work very well, but your body makes its own, and it's proven this makes your body make more, okay? And the glutathione is a detoxifier. So we all have toxins in our cells. You know, we got Roundup, we got Teflon, we got pesticides, we got antibiotics, and they're in our cells. It's going to release it into the bloodstream. And the only negative thing that can happen with this product at the beginning generally is detox. You could get a headache, you could get a rash, you could get diarrhea. These are all, it happens in less than 10% of people. The cleansing is happening in everybody. I mean, it's like a fish tank with gravel in the bottom. You put your hand and mix it up, all of a sudden the water gets cloudy. That's what this is doing. So you want to drink a lot of water. So drink a lot of water, stay well hydrated. The rule of thumb I say at the beginning is take your weight in body and your weight in pounds, divided by 2, whatever that number is, shoot for that to be the number of ounces you drink of water a day. 150-pound person, 75 ounces a day. Just drink a lot in the morning to get it going. But drink a lot of water, start at 4 ounces a day, 2 ounces in the morning, 2 ounces at night, or 60 ml in the morning and night. And after 1 week, 7 days, reassess. See how you're doing on your all of those things you wrote down, and look at your pictures. You take another pictures. I find that 15% of people are ecstatic after 7 days. That leaves 85% of the people that are like, nah, I don't know. And it's at 4 ounces a day, you've gone through about 1 bottle. This is why I never give away 1 bottle. If you give away 1 bottle, you have an 85% fail rate, pretty much, is what you have, right? So what happens at day 7 for the people that haven't seen a change, double up. Go to the magic 8 ounces a day. That's what we call it, temporarily, until you see your changes. And if you want to stay at that level, stay there. I stayed there. I mean, I feel much younger at 8 ounces. So now you're going through 2 bottles a week, at least temporarily. This is why, Karen, I really say, number one, never give a bottle away to somebody, because you get an 85% fail rate. But when people start the first month, I beg them, don't just get 1 case, because 1 case is 4 bottles, okay? If you double the amount you're drinking after 1 week, you go through 1 bottle the first week, 2 bottles the second week, and in 2.5 weeks, your product's gone. So the first month, and it's a money-back guarantee for 30 days anyway. I mean, I want to commit to go 90 days, but if the doubling up to the magic 8 is magical, I call the magic 8 for a lot of people. And then once you see those results, you start decreasing. And don't drink it out of the bottle. Saliva will start destabilizing. It'll turn back into salt water. Pour it into the little cup, put the cap on it, put it in your mouth, and hold it for 60 seconds before you swallow it. And then just wait 5 minutes before you eat or drink anything. That's the best way to take this product. And if someone's taking 8 ounces a day and they're not seeing changes, I'll say, you know what? For 4 days in a row, just drink half a bottle. It can't hurt you in any way. Now, it won't say it on the bottle, but I'm just saying that's what I recommend people do, because there is no toxicity to it. That's the best way to use it.
Wonderful. Now, a lot of people don't care for the taste of ASEA Redox straight. So some people have said, well, can I put it in my orange juice? Can I add it to my coffee? Can I put it with anything? Why can you not mix this product with anything else?
Well, first of all, the taste will taste like a few ways. It'll taste like plain water. If you're really clean and really non-toxic at all, it just tastes like water. It could taste like swimming pool water. That's the hypochlorite in there. It's just one of the redox molecules. It's not chlorine. And 3, it could taste like salt water. And the 4th group is somebody that says, oh, gosh, this is awful. That's a very small percentage of people. And that's scary, because those are the people that need it the most. Those are the people that are really toxic. And as they drink it, and as they drink a lot of water, picture that fish tank with all that garbage that's just been mixed up into the water. The fish are choking. The only way to get rid of that is to scoop the water out with the garbage, right, and put in fresh water. The taste will go away. Generally, if it tastes like pool water or salt water, that goes away too after a month. I mean, it's just at the beginning where people sometimes have that, most don't. But the reason you can't mix it is because this is a miracle of science. To have negative reductants and positive oxidants in the same vessel was thought to be physically impossible. When I say physically, I mean by physics. They're negative and positive. They want to go back to being stable, which was salt and water when you put them together, but they don't. It's kind of like trying to put hot water and cold water in the same bottle, Karen, and have it stay hot and cold. Who would think that's possible? That's how insanely impossible it was thought to do this. And that's where some of the patents come in. They were able to do that. It's stable. But if it comes in contact with anything organic, as soon as it does, it accelerates the return of this back into being salt and water. That's why you don't drink out of the bottle and put the cap on, because it has, you have saliva that'll get in there, and by the time you come back at night and do it again, it's a little more salt and water than it was in the morning. In fact, in the US and North America, they have these sports pouches that athletes love, and there's a one-way valve on here. And the one-way valve allows you to suck on it, and saliva can't go back in. So saliva is organic, orange juice is organic, apple juice is organic, milk is organic. Anything you're going to consume is organic. If anybody was going to dilute it with anything, just dilute it with distilled water. Distilled water is not good as drinking water, but it's safe to dilute it with that. If people don't like the taste at the beginning, they can try refrigerating it, right? Because sometimes that helps. Or what they can do is they can get the pouches, and if you don't smell, your nose is how you taste. You just put it in your mouth and you hold your breath and you swallow it. It's gone. You never even tasted it. I mean, I hate to say this is one of my little secrets in college, how I hated drinking, but the only way I could do it was to just hold my nose and drink vodka. I didn't even taste it. That's a whole nother story. This has benefits for doing it.
Fantastic. So let's just wrap up here with our final thoughts. You have been with the organization for a number of years, and of course, you have chosen to become a professional networker with ASEA. You have dedicated your time, your talent, your energy. You're sacrificing time with your family. Your family is sacrificing their time with you as you help us share this incredible product around the world, really. You know, it's important to recognize that it's okay to be skeptical. And from your perspective as a retired doctor, what would you tell someone who is skeptical? A 30-second message from a retired podiatrist. What would you say to someone?
What's to lose and what's to gain with this? First of all, I don't sacrifice anymore. I did to get where I am, but because I told people who told people who told people who told people, now I make money when I sleep. I make money when I go on vacation with my family. I couldn't do that as a doctor. You know, we go to Florida for the winter. For next 4 months we were there. I could never have done that as a doctor. I mean, I'm 58. I would have been working in my office until I was 70 or 75 or 80 years old. And while I love doing it, boy, a lot of life goes by, you know, and now it's worth working this into the nooks and crannies of your life to share it with people. Being skeptical is good, but just say, well, prove it to me. It's so easy to prove this to people. And so we're the pioneers. People are going to look back and say in 10 years or 5 years, look, the company's gone into momentum. Now they're going to do 200 million this year at least. We are flying. And it's going to be $1 billion company a year within 4 to 5 years. It's going to be the only other company except for Amway that does $10 billion in a year. I mean, I know this. I know this is a breakthrough for humanity. Be skeptical, but be inquisitive. Say, prove it. Be from Missouri. Show me. And it's so easy to do that. And I would really recommend coming to convention in September, because that's where you can meet all the medical board, you meet all the most successful people in the company, you meet beautiful Karen Riley, you meet the founders of the company, you meet everybody to get a good feel for this, to know, okay, by then you'll know this product works, but you want to put time, effort, and energy into something that can free you up for the rest of your life? Come to convention. If I didn't go to that convention, Karen, you told me to go, I wouldn't be where I am. I would not have gotten the big picture. I wouldn't have met the people in one-on-one conversations to say, my gosh, these people aren't rah-rah. This is about something important for humanity, and I get the privilege to be part of it, and my family as well. So that's the best advice I can give a skeptic.
Wonderful. And for someone who isn't a doctor, who wants to share the information that we've been sharing with you tonight, you can find the Torte Lab Study on our website. If you are not an associate with us at this time, please get back to the person who invited you to this call, and they can share that those study results with you. There's also a lot of FAQs that are answered on our ASEAglobal.com website. And, you know, one of the things that I will leave you with tonight is this. And David, you have said this so often. Google or Yahoo or the internet is not a research engine, it's a search engine. If you want to really understand and get some confidence about redox biochemistry, we welcome you to go to some credible sites, like share those sites with our audience tonight, David.
Well, the best sites to go to are ASEAScience.com for science. Amazingmolecules.com is a great reference site. There are 2 pages there that have interest-specific videos and documents too, but interest-specific videos where if you're interested in the Renew, you can watch that. If you're interested in the story of how this started, I really recommend watching the genesis of ASEA. It's a 16-minute video. It explains that this was almost bought by a pharmaceutical company, and they would have surely just buried it. They would have buried it as quick as if the typewriter companies had the rights and the patents on the word processor. They would have buried it. That's a great site. The Redox doc.
PubMed.gov as well is one of my most favorite.
Oh, yep. Well, so here's the thing. So Google, like you say, it's really the men's public bathroom over a wall. People can write whatever they want on the wall. But go to Google Scholar. Most people don't even know Google Scholar. You go to Google Scholar, Karen, I went the other day, there were 924,000 studies and articles on redox signaling molecules. 924,000 at Google Scholar. And PubMed.gov is our nation's library of medicine. Put in redox signaling molecules. I think it's close to 20,000 of them. But these are credible places to go to get information. And it's nice that ASEA Science has put a lot of this up there, and the Redox doc has put a lot up there too.
Absolutely. So we're so grateful, David, that you would share your time and your experience with us tonight. Thank you for joining us and helping us explain to our audience a little bit more about what is often felt complex, but is very simply elegant, just like our bodies are designed. As you mentioned, ASEA Redox does nothing, right? It doesn't cure anything. It doesn't treat anything. It simply empowers your body to do what it was designed to do. Your cells know exactly how to function, and as we age, they stop functioning properly. This product goes in and harnesses the body's power to heal itself. It harnesses the body's power to re-signal proper messaging in proper balance. So regardless of whether you feel you're the fittest of the fit or you're the sickest of the sick, this product has been proven to be effective on all ages, all races, all health statuses, and without it, your body goes back to that unhealthy decline. So we hope that if you haven't yet given ASEA Redox a try, you will give it a try with the words of wisdom from David Silverman. We thank you for joining us tonight, and we will see you later. Thank you, David, for being with us.
Thanks, Karen. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.